November 17th, calling the select board to order. First item up is consider additions or adjustments. We have one addition for an executive session. Are there any other additions or adjustments? On the board? Any additions or adjustments?
Like to talk about the old town hall, and I don't see it on the agenda.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get that terminology in my head. I'm gonna have to start writing it that way. Can I add that under 13?
Yeah, anywhere.
Maybe executive session? We're not negotiating, you're just looking for updates.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Next up, invoices and orders are being passed around. Is there any comment from the public?
Invoices, or is this the public?
Public comment section.
I do.
What do you have for a public comment?
What do I have? I have an update and a sort of some soft requests. The update is on the topic of getting a special and urgent needs grant next year. For up to $5,000, that would help restore the water down in the charge area, you know. And the update is that I read the grant part this one carefully, and looks like we would fit the criterion. There were some follow-up questions I had, and I've been in email contact with the very helpful grant people at Community Foundation. And every response I got was like, oh yeah, you know, this looks like a decent, reason for an application. So that's kind of good news. But like I said, we should, whoever works on it, whether it's being a part of both or whatever, the work would probably be done in January. But the supports and sort of guidance maybe I'm looking for now is that some planning help is needed that is beyond what I know in my head. And Tom has said if he has time, he'll take a little bit of time, would be this week, to recapture some of the site ideas he had for a workaround down there of what can be done for an alternative supply. And I need to pick his brain and capture that stuff in writing. So that's one. Possibly need some help or guidance from Carl in terms of, I don't know, the application, the town's role, strengthening it. So that's if that all pans out to what looks like a solid plan, then in late December or January, we come back and say, okay, we want to write this grant. So that's the update with some requests.
Requests.
Thank you.
Any further public comment? Not sure what the requests really were, we'll see.
Well, it would be to help prepare a plan, which would be part of the application plan, therefore it's translated into a budget and, some more specifics. But right now, I see the match. I don't have a plan. I need more information before being able to formulate a plan. And the help I need would be a little bit of time from Tom and possibly some time in December.
In December?
Hmm?
Did you say in December?
Maybe December, maybe January.
Okay.
That's what the new grant cycle is open until early. In 26.
Mhm.
So that's.
Tom won't
Is
be here.
Is that more clear?
Well, Tom won't be here in December. That's why.
What?
Tom won't be here in December.
No, I know.
Oh,
You're saying
This is last week.
December.
Oh, help from Carl.
I know that.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, no, he talked about us there.
okay.
He
Long-
said, if I have time, I'll give you a couple minutes.
As long as we're cognizant about the time.
Do you know when the application is due, or is it rolling?
It's rolling.
Okay.
Rolling, it's rolling and no match. Which is something you guys always want to be reminded of.
Is it,
Yeah, it's rolling. So,
might, I mean, this is speaking out 6 months, but doing this, having meeting with somebody, maybe not right away, because I'm a short timer, Carl's an intern. But if the work wouldn't be able to start until April or May at the soonest anyways, because of, and getting a contractor out there, while snow's on the ground might be hard as well. Might be best to plan, like maybe a calendar update to touch base with the town, like March 1st, to say, okay, we're ready to,
could be.
and that way, because it might be somebody else who's gonna have to learn what Carl did, and somebody else who learned what I did. Might be best is to start in March with the whole project.
Right. But to me, the most important part is to recapture the things you said on site back in October. And I think that can be done with the. You know, before it all evaporates and everything goes in that. That's.
Any further public comment? Hearing none, select board updates, issues, concerns, celebrations. What's the select board got?
Celebrations. Not really, unfortunately. Couple of things. One, I want to get on our radar, H 687, which is a revision of Act 250, which basically revises Act 250 into what they're calling vocational based tiers. And there's tier 1A, 1B, 2, and 3. 3 is the most sensitive natural resource areas. 2 is 90% of the state. 1A and 1B are the interesting parts, and that's where the town and or the town plus the regional planning commission can designate areas for development. And in those areas, if you meet a bunch of criteria, there's no Act 250 review. So as we think about housing and whatnot, I think we should probably be thinking about learning a little bit more about it and tasking the planning commission to jump on that and look into it and see what needs to happen and so on and so forth.
I was thinking about tasking the planning commission as you were saying it.
Okay,
That was H 67,
sorry,
87.
687.
687.
Yep.
So are you looking for us to do?
I guess it's
sign
just an
that?
awareness thing, really.
Okay,
I don't think we need a motion to task planning commission, but.
okay.
you-
Need to
should we?
be asked.
Hmm?
Just need to be asked.
Yeah, okay. I'll ask them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That'd be great.
The other thing, or two more. One is we just met downstairs and we talked about we need to get somebody access to Tom's H drive. And presumably that should be Carl and at least one board member and Rosemary, sorry. So that we make sure we have access to whatever's needed. So Carl and Rosemary are obvious, who's a board member.
Adrian's a good pick.
Okay, I can
She's
do it.
really good at searching.
Okay,
You're
so
comfortable with it. I'm
who,
not trying to
you
look
get on the
for-
tech group,
No,
get
that's
that
fine.
done?
Yep.
Okay,
And then Carl, I already asked, I sent an email out last week to give Rosemary access to both Carl's drive and my drive. But I'll add Carl to my drive and Adrian to my drive. Would it be prudent to add Adrian to Carl's drive as well? Just,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's interim, so.
okay.
So how can how do I log into the drive then?
They're probably gonna set up a, like a remote,
VPN.
we use, it's called Net Extender.
Okay.
So they'll probably use your email address, set up Net Extender on your laptop. So then when you log in, just
Okay.
by the nature, you'll have a separate login, your private one, and then you'll have a town login. When you log into the town, it would automatically log in, and then every time you come into the office and on office Wi-Fi, you're automatically in as well.
Okay, you can't access it from your home.
You can through that next.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's a little bit of cumbersome process, but
Yeah.
there it's good.
okay, great.
And the last thing, just quickly, want to get back on our radar that at some point, since the government's now back in session, hopefully we'll get something going with the EPA grant that we got. So we need to be thinking about steering committee. So just putting on back on the radar.
Yeah, we left off with, did they send a list of names? The rec task force?
I think we
Carl-
asked them to, but I haven't seen it if they have, but
I think Carl has the list, so
you might have it.
he can send that to us and,
So we just need to think about how big we want that to be, whether any of us want to be on it, what external group we want.
So there should be somebody, if not two people. Probably from the board.
Not three.
Yeah,
Okay, that's it. I'm done.
okay. Guess we got homework. Next up, I would entertain a motion to appoint Justin Ruth Henner to the Conservation Commission.
I'll move that motion.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the ayes have it. Thank you.
How many spots are left open, Lois?
Okay, one.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna meet with a committee in December, but it's good to keep it on that track and it keeps us there, but we got other things going on,
It's gonna be busy till March.
probably. Rosemary, do you have anything for us?
Yes, I have. A one-time occasion liquor license. For bookstore mall. And they're having a meeting at Johnson Bull and Mill. On December 13th of this year.
This is a new application.
Yeah.
Anything?
So there's, so bookstore mall. Oh, malt, probably. Mall, MALL. Bookstore malt.
Can I have a motion from the board to approve the liquor license?
Second.
Second.
Motion and second, further discussion. Can you send out the regular letter with it?
Just a one day.
Yeah. So it'll be hard to claw it back. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Next up, we have Carrie Johnson with us remotely. To go over the staffing study. First draft, I don't know if you can unmute yourself, Carrie.
I can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. I have a few, like a couple minutes of comments to add to what you have as a staffing study. I didn't send it I didn't want to confuse things, but you have the draft, the first draft of the report itself that I prepared. Basically bullet points for PowerPoint. So for those that didn't or may not recall what the RFP was, the task was to evaluate current staffing levels, whether current staffing levels matched service needs, to compare Johnson to similar communities in Vermont, identify efficiency opportunities and capacity gaps, provide a balanced, fiscally responsible recommendation. And then, of course, as I implied, to supply an executive summary. I'm not gonna, I reviewed, in case you had to present this at a public meeting, your town, but you guys all know that, so I'm not gonna go over that. You know what staff you have. But it was noteworthy, for those that are outside of Johnson, that you have shared staff and space. The roles are complementary, but they're not currently coordinated as well as they could be through a central structured workflow, meaning you have a lot of different people doing things and a lot of stuff going on, but There seemed to be a little bit of communication gap, and that happens in a lot of small towns when everyone's just doing their thing, myself included. When I worked, just put my head down and try to get stuff done. That leads to workload peaks and inconsistent cross coverage. So what that means is you don't have a bench, right? If somebody's sick, somebody leaves, as you're experiencing painfully right now. There will be some gaps in how your productivity. I'll skip that one. In addition, I put it a little bit nicer in the report, but the key findings for me were that administrative staff operate without really, they started to, I know they did, structured coordination tools, meaning maybe there should be very specific group meetings, maybe some informal policies, that kind of stuff. And highway staffing was a concern of yours. I know that was. And it's fragile during storms, illnesses, and emergencies. And unfortunately, you guys get all three, and nobody, you can't predict exactly when that happens. And grant activity is increasing, requiring more tracking, more consistent tracking and reporting. So as you already know this, but I think it's worth saying out loud. FEMA isn't the only grant that requires an exhausting amount of tracking and consistent tracking. So the administrative recommendations I did outline in that report, but I think adopting a hybrid administrative coordination model would be helpful. And what that means in English is, as you prepare to hire an administrator, I would highly recommend that more of the workflow and coordination be funneled through that office. And not, it seemed like there was it just seemed like there was, and through no lack of any of your awesome employees, it was hard that some things weren't getting communicated amongst, with each other. I had written down weekly joint meetings. That's too much. You have a small enough town. I think once a month or once a quarter would be helpful, but I do believe it needs to be scheduled pretty regularly. And that doesn't none of those things cost you any money. It's just a different way of looking at it. I don't know how your longtime administrator functioned. And I'm not speaking about Tom's directly, but there needs to be more coordination and more power relayed to your town administrator so that people are just trained. I mean, the public won't necessarily always want to contact your town administrator. I know that sometimes they want to talk to their elected officials, and that's awesome. But after that, the next phone call should be, you have a question about X, call your town administrator. And I'm not sure that's happening. I don't know if it isn't all the time, but it would be helpful. It seemed like some of the, like with Brian and maybe with Tom, that wasn't happening as smoothly as it could. So it's just something that I can talk offline to give you maybe an example or two, but that would help coordinate things. I mean, when I was a town administrator in a couple towns, my job didn't really vary much from when I was a manager, because they deferred or delegated on a lot of the day-to-day operations to myself and an assistant. And I'm not trying to imply you need to hire anybody either. As far as the grants and Carl's work, I believe, based on the comps I found with other municipalities, that it's awesome to think, I think almost on the offense and want to have an economic development specialist. But it might be, I think if you're hiring someone, did you already hire somebody? Actually, you said you were hiring people.
No.
You didn't yet. Okay. I didn't think you had. But to have that person focus on grant admin, grant writing, grant tracking. And I know Carl's not doing a ton of that. He's doing a lot of project management work, and certainly he can do some of that. But as you look to this new employee, their focus their focus should be on seeking more grants and then having the time and the capacity to then manage them. Nothing gets the state and the feds more excited than not reporting when they've asked you to report. You know, they'll send a flurry of activity and emails to you if you don't do that correctly. So that's just a thought going forward when you get away from having to triage, you know, the town administrator spot and the town clerk spot. You can have a plan like, hey, that's what we're going to strive for maybe in the future. Or I don't know what your priorities are as far as when you plan to hire that person.
Gary,
And
I interrupt you and just ask you to clarify that.
yep,
Hire the new community economic development specialist. Their focus should be more grants. But then I think I also heard you said their focus should be grant management and administration of the grant. Is that, or were you referring to the town administrator for that part of it, or?
no, I was thinking, you know, the position that Carl's currently holding, and if you probably should have them focus on not only seeking grants, but being able to manage them afterwards on the finance end, to be able to report when things need to be reported, and also just to have that capacity to go out and apply for grants. It sounds easy, and grants are awesome, but they take a lot of time, and often they're often due all at the same time. So I don't know that the focus on a community of your size should be economic development. As much as maybe it can be a other duty as assigned, but a lot of communities of your size don't necessarily have a dedicated economic development specialist.
Oh, okay. So you're saying focus on community development, not economic development.
I think she's saying
Correct.
grant
It can still happen, of course, but and that was something Carl had mentioned to me, having worked there for a little while. He thought that would be important to include when you're looking for somebody for that spot.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. And what I should go back and clarify, like one of the examples I should have provided it earlier when I was talking about a coordinated effort working through your town administrator is when you have when Rosemary retires, right? So you're going to have somebody appointed. There's 3 different models you can adopt there. You can have them a new person work next to your town administrator. You can have them work with and coordinate with the town administrator. And gosh, I can't remember the third one, but it didn't seem like it was something you guys would like. So I chose, when I was putting in inputting data, to go with a hybrid model that would have something that I've worked successfully with, is just work with the town clerk treasurer, what they're appointed now. So when your new person comes in, it'd be great if they maybe not reported directly to, but we're working with the town administrator more instead of just each doing their own thing. I mean, you guys have this unique situation where you have a long time valuable employee leaving, and now the position's appointed. That I didn't have enough time to go into that, and you're at a it could be a watershed moment for your town at this point, right? You need to have somebody who understands finance, who can work with your town administrator. And it seemed like this would be a great opportunity for change. Maybe not change is the wrong word, but a different coordination model. Doesn't necessarily mean, nor am I advocating, since we're doing this out in public, that you have to look outside your community. Not going to get into what you're doing for hiring those positions at this point. And I guess that's kind of it, except I will clarify that the chart I sent you, my appendix, as it related to highway, did assume that you had 4 highway employees. I know you have funded a 5th position. It's hard to find them. And I know you just had that someone leave. So when you're looking at that chart, it does assume that you have 4 people. And my recommendation would be to as soon as you can. Hire a fifth person to ensure continuity, like I alluded to earlier, or illness, injuries, and the weather and emergencies.
Gary, on that note, sorry, this is Paul. I have another question.
Yes,
There may be lots of good reasons to hire a fifth highway employee. I'm not debating that necessarily, but looking at the graph.
yes,
uh,
On
It
page
showed-
5. Yeah,
It shows that Johnson has less miles per full-time employee than any other town you looked at except West Rutland. And yet in the description, it says that supports the case for hiring another.
yeah, the
full-time.
graph didn't, I know, that's valid. I love questions. I really do love questions like that. That's a valid question. The reason for that, for my recommendation was largely because every project that Public Works does requires more people than we currently usually have staff for, right? You do even a ditching project and you're supposed to have flaggers there. When I started in the early 2000s, Public Works, we were given a nod to do what we could. Most of the roads didn't have a ton of traffic, so you didn't necessarily have to have a 3-person crew. But now VOSHA is drilling down on all municipalities, so you have to do it more often than not the right way. Not that you're not doing it the right way, but so because of the severeness of your weather, the fact that Public Works drivers you need more of them in the summer, and that's when we all get a lot of our work done to prevent things from happening in the winter time, and just because sickness, illness, and vacation time. That's part of the reason I made that recommendation. The graph does speak in the other direction, but I know that doesn't really truly depict what your community has for challenges.
Gary, this is Mike Dunham. It's very disappointing to me that you have come to the conclusion that we do need a fifth employee. What you just barely said, that's your justification for recommending it, correct?
Yes, those are part of them, yes.
So do you have other justifications you're not sharing with us, or is anything else written down any other place not in front of us?
You have the summary. No, I don't have anything else. I'm not holding back on you at this point or anything. It's just, that's just where I came down on my recommendation, but it's not firm. If you decided you didn't want another person, the 5 of you can debate that for sure. But
You know the background of the fifth employee, don't you?
probably not the whole story, but I don't know if you want to share that this evening.
Well, because we had a gravel pit that we were involved in time, and we felt as if we needed another employee for safety's sake. We no longer maintain that the gravel pit anymore, so what's the reason for the fifth employee?
she just told you her.
I understand, but that's the background. That's why we did have
Okay.
5 one time. And because we had a gravel pit, but we don't have one now. So I think some of us felt that we could get by with 4 employees. But now, because you recommended 5, I think it puts us between a rock and a hard place to not hire a 5th employee.
This report doesn't force us to do anything.
I understand that, but it still puts a magnifying glass on the board.
I have some questions about some of your graphs.
Is she
Absolutely.
done?
Are you done with your presentation and ready for our questions? I was getting that
Yes.
sent.
Absolutely, yes, perfect.
So the well, graphs, appendixes, what have you.
Right.
Page 3, that appendix. For the highway foreman, road crew, and rec. Those are
Mhm.
all 100% town, not 50/50. So in the final,
Correct.
report, I think that should be corrected.
Mhm.
That's, there's a lot of things going on, so that's not a big deal.
Nope, it needs to be correct. That's
And then
fair.
appendix B. I like this appendix because it, municipality population tax rate, grand lists compared. One thing I'd like to see is maybe an appendix BA and an appendix BV, if you will. Because if you adjust our tax rates by the CLA for all these towns, it disproportionately puts Johnson in a worse position, which if all things are perfect, that's accurate, right?
Mhm.
Like Hyde Park's a comparable tax rate. Anybody that wants to go online can look that up.
Mhm.
But if you correct theirs by their CLA, which is really low, and ours by our CLA, which is still low, it's not as low, they drop considerably below what we do. The one outlier is Rockingham, and I don't really understand why their tax rate is what it is, but I can get you that data if you want. It's all on PVNR. And then Appendix D.
But wait, so before we leave that, you would like to add something to appendix B, and then you said another one. So you can send that to me in an email, and we can float back and forth.
We don't have to if the board doesn't want it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's taking the tax rate and dividing it by the CLA or multiplying it by the CLA, really.
Yeah.
To get like your equalized tax rates, because all these towns are at different CLAs, which
It's
if
true,
everything's that 3-year rolling average should give us a better indication of our actual tax rate at Cambridge's actual tax rate corrected by their CLA.
It's how the tax rate feels to the taxpayer.
Yeah,
Pick an extra column side by side, but actually,
Mhm.
maybe not a full nother appendix.
yeah.
BABB. No, Tom's idea is way better.
Sorry,
It's
what-
like another column.
What the CLA?
Common level appraisal.
It's a 3-year equalization study that puts all the towns in the area. So that way, like, say your listers are disproportionately putting your grand list high so that people pay less.
Hmm.
This way they take all the towns around you and they equalize them. And it was started really for the education tax
Mhm.
portion, but it's actually been really helpful in determining in the times between the reappraisals, how to make sure your tax rate is actually accurate or not.
It's a comparison of what places are appraised for versus what they actually sell for. On like super high level, Tom did a better job.
Mhm.
And it's a 3-year average.
Okay.
So if the town has a property appraised for $100,000, it should sell on the open market for $100,000.
Mhm.
If it sells lower, our CLA would be high. If it sells higher, our CLA will be low.
Okay.
I can
It's a
get you that.
little- Yeah, that's great. It's a little bit of a moving target because everyone's changes, and so yes, the average kind of levels it out a little, but send me what, yeah. This information is 2024 for the most part, year ending 24, not the current
Yeah.
year,
Did
because.
you get that off?
Sorry.
You get all that off PV?
I did get some, yeah, I did get that, a lot of that from the PVR site, and then for the income data, I used Department of Labor. They have some really good sheets on by county too, and then
Yeah.
communities. So yeah, it's not quite as brand new, it's not the current year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, I think Appendix D might need a disclaimer. I believe them all to be accurate numbers. It's just in how it's accounted for. Hyde Park, we sign the same contract Hyde Park signs for EMS, the exact same. We pay more money than Hyde Park does for EMS. Our number's accurate, but they're in there for 1.6 million. My guess, just guessing,
Mhm.
is their law enforcement money is in there and some of their fire department money is in there. Because we also signed the exact same contract that they signed with the sheriff's department. And our number is in there accurately.
Yeah,
569. And there's that 199. I just think, I'm not saying that Hyde Park's doing it wrong, I just feel like some sort of a disclaimer, you know, these are taken out of their budget numbers. Because I
yeah,
get,
yeah.
and I assume Cambridge's numbers are correct, except for maybe law enforcement. And it's, you know, every town accounts for it a little differently.
Well, they do, and that could be wrong, though. I mean, I sent emails out, I know multiple times, it's a hard time of year, but I got all of this from town reports, but I could have interpreted it incorrectly, so it'd be worth a phone call to their treasurer. Our numbers are correct because Rosemary gave me those numbers,
Yeah,
so,
you see what
yeah.
I'm.
Yeah,
The sums are around the same, but I just,
yeah.
Yeah, there's gotta be, because there's no way it's gonna be 1.647, $1,647,000 for EMS, no way.
maybe if you drop the 2 off, that would be accurate.
Tour.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'll
Sure.
call the treasurers and ask them about that information.
I can send you our EMS contract. Because Hyde Park's listed and their amounts listed right on it. It's
Oh,
a,
that's fine. I'll pull it from there, but I'll still need to get it, something from Cambridge that's accurate then.
and their law enforcement's definitely skewed if my guess is wrong. Rosemary's probably correct, and there's just an extra digit.
I agree, you could drop the last 2 on that. Hyde Park,
But law enforcement's off.
way off.
And the one thing that's not in the law enforcement, I feel like we're getting super nitty gritty. Is that 569 patrol and communications?
No.
Just patrol?
No,
I did, right, that's a valid question. I did only put patrol in there because dispatch seemed a little, hard to find in a couple of those towns, honestly, and I didn't want to give you incorrect numbers,
Okay.
which I did. I didn't want to put dispatch in one and then not in another. That was the hard part, right?
I feel like I'm nitpicking, but,
No, you're not, because this information needs to be correct and this was used, yeah, so that's fine. Not offended.
maybe
We
we
need
could,
it to be correct.
maybe we could put highway budgets for those towns in there too.
I do have highway budgets. I already have a spreadsheet, so I could do that. I could do another appendix.
Although that's contracted services, maybe.
I know, but I could do, I mean, the reason, the way I got to some of these conclusions is I did do a spreadsheet that showed Department of Public Works budgets, and my own internal working, so, I could certainly add that. Highway,
While we're adding columns to Appendix D, one of your other recommendations was that recreation is under-resourced. It would be really interesting to see recreation budget comparison between those towns as well.
okay,
Be good.
2 of those towns are gonna have a really low number. Are you talking whole of recreation or salary only?
That's a good question.
I think whole.
Including salaries?
Yeah.
salary and programs,
But I would say the whole budget,
Mhm.
salary and equipment, maintenance, whatever.
Fair enough.
That would,
I think the question is going to lead, so Cambridge and Hyde Park don't have a rec person. But we spend, 30 to 50,000, I don't know, on the rec person when you add in all. So that's gonna show, but we only have like $11,000 in program, or $5,000 a year to expense. Because programs pay for themselves, but we have to pay, really just pay for a person to make sure they pay for themselves. Whereas when you look at Cambridge and Hyde Park,
right.
so that's why it's important to know that the numbers you want and why.
Yeah, so would it be clearer to talk your salary?
You can spread them out, but I personally don't think it's fair if we see a report that Cambridge spends $30,000 on recreation and Johnson spends 5.
Same, for the
In
same reason.
actuality, we spend 40,000 on
Right.
recreation and Cambridge.
Yeah, I
spent.
know, that's what I'm,
Because if you're not paying a person in-house to do the work, then you're gonna be paying like the program facilitator, you know, like a essentially as a subcon. So it doesn't. So it's just, it was important to know what is your end game? You know, is it just dollar for dollar, then it should be everything included, but if it's programs for programs, or if it's number of employees per number of programs, costs, or. You know, what's your end game that gives you to compare with that?
Well, if you make an appendix and you have like recreation cost and recreation employee cost or salary cost. So there's 2 columns. That would give us kind of apples to apple, dollar for dollar wise, not necessarily the amount of programs. I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
You could skew those numbers very easily and say, you guys don't spend enough money on recreation, or you could skew them and say, you guys spend way too much money on recreation. And I don't want either, I just want honest data.
It's dangerous, no matter what the numbers go back, it's gonna be like, it's gonna kill the argument.
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess if it's impossible, then salaries and overall budget separated out.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. If we're doing highway salaries, that'd be a good comparison too.
So when you wanted highway budget numbers in there, you only wanted salary? Not, you don't want,
I don't think they're gonna match line for line. You could do overall highway. And then highway salaries or something. That would tell
I
us.
think, well, I mean, I think salary would be helpful. I don't know that you really want to be comparing how much salt you buy and how much gravel you use.
Not line for line. It would never, in my mind, be a perfect comparison in budgets that large, percentage wise. Because Cambridge has more miles of road than us.
Mm.
They also have more asphalt. But they are lower in elevation for a portion
Mhm.
of their village, town. So they may actually use less salt. In actuality, they probably use more, but the overall dollar amount would be a
Right.
unique comparison.
Salt's pretty cheap. Yeah, it's expensive, but.
Salt's pretty cheap. Oh. Well, you know, maybe West Rutland spends $1 million a year on their equipment. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't, anyway, so.
They got something going on down there.
Yeah, I don't know. Not very many miles of road, as you know. All right, well, so I think I have that information. What else? Thought you said you had 3 things.
I may have already spewed them all.
Okay.
You done?
I'm done.
So this is the first draft, and then there'll be a second draft in, like next month, are we saying, or? Okay,
Yeah, next time I'm gonna make some changes, and my plan was to bring it back. I don't. Once, you know, I know that we could probably do this every month for a while, but I don't think you wanna do that.
so next month is the final draft then, or?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
it's your internal report, so, you know, you can do what you want with it that time.
Okay, and so with the next round that you give us, will there be like a flow chart or anything included for?
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you said that, because that was one of my recommendations and it dropped off my radar. I believe you do need to get an organizational chart and it needs to be approved. I couldn't find one for your municipality, and I think that would help with, I can't believe I didn't think about it when I was talking about organizational and structure. But yes, we will, we'll have to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think one of our employees sent over a review with the flow chart on it.
Mhm.
If you didn't get that, I can send it over to you as well.
I have it, but it wasn't approved as far as I could understand, right? It was in draft.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so that one was a draft. You want it in this report, which is perfect.
Well, I'd like to see like our current flow and then a recommended flow.
I see.
the recommended flow would be based on her recommendation.
Yes.
Not based on what we've thought about.
Right. Mhm.
And then you can
More than one
discuss.
recommendation if you want.
I'm sorry?
And you could end up with more than one recommendation if you so choose, but
Oh,
yeah.
true, that's valid. Mhm.
Any questions from you, Peter?
Carrie, I'm just wondering, I feel like there was a lot more in what you said tonight than there was in the draft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did send this.
And I'm wondering if you can somehow add more of that?
I can, absolutely, yeah. Because I gave you what was just called the staffing study itself, but I had prepared a PowerPoint, then I realized it wasn't necessary. But I liked some of the things I'd put in my PowerPoint, so yes, I'd already come to that conclusion. I'm like, those things need to be in there, but you know, at this point, 3 hours ago was too late, so, yes, absolutely.
Great, thanks, yeah.
Anything more from the board?
I think it should be noted that this board likes things very, very honest, and you don't have to sugarcoat it and just tell them how it is, and they would appreciate it so much.
I love that. I do that really well, sometimes to my own detriment.
Is there anything you have to add, Rosemary? Tom?
Good.
I think the board's had their say.
Would
I
you,
don't,
I was gonna say, would you be able to come back on December 1st to do the final draft?
Yeah, that's my plan. Hopefully I
Okay.
can get some answers from people. It's hard sometimes the week of Thanksgiving, but unless I can't get anybody, yeah, because I know it's budget time. So,
Okay, and she can be on our agenda for that meeting? Okay, all right, great.
well, thank you very much, Carrie. We
thank
won't
you
keep.
thank you for doing your homework. That was awesome. Good
All right.
question. Good night. Have a good night.
Hey, good night.
Carl, you got the hot seat. Thank you for coming.
So start with the SEDS report. The industrial park and NBRC grant, I gave you some notes on matters and there's a new news since I wrote this report last Thursday. We did receive the draft of the conservation easement for the Prindle lot. That's has to do with the deer wintering area. We received that on Friday. Today I forwarded that to the town attorney, and asked him to start reviewing it and hopefully get back to me so that you could have it on your December 1st meeting agenda. Then after I sent that off to the attorney, Luke from Mumley contacted me and asked if he could have permission to send that draft conservation easement to the state to fulfill one of the Act 250 application requirements. And so I read through the easement and then got back to him and said, yes, go ahead and submit it, because the conservation easement really didn't have anything in there that was surprise to me based on what I heard people talking about what was going to be in it, and an understanding between the state and the town about, you know, how you can use that lot. You can still use it for non-motorized recreation. You can still do logging on it, as at least if it's consistent with managing the forest for wildlife habitat and so on. So it didn't seem like there was anything surprising there, but the town attorney is still reviewing it. And people at Act 250 know that it's a draft, and so that they know it's in the works, then they will sort of check that box off. So that's that is underway. Do you have any questions about the NBRC or the
industrial park. What I wrote there,
Do we need a motion for the signature form or is that just gonna come up?
that's 8B on your agenda here.
You certainly email a lot of foresters.
Well, I had the list and I only selected, I'm gonna guess half of the foresters on the list based on their location. So there were a number of them from New Hampshire, maybe even some from Maine and some from southern Vermont. So I focused on ones from more northern Vermont.
Oh, yeah. But it's not a big, huge project.
No. And so far I've only received 2 replies, one thanking us for the invitation, but bowed out, too busy, and another one offered some advice. Didn't know if he could make it on Thursday because of another commitment, but that's the only response I've received so far, so hopefully
Really?
somebody shows up.
Huh. Crazy.
So the Johnson Visioning Project, we have a meeting scheduled for December 3 that week. I'm supposed to be and will be on vacation. I am planning to get to the house on Monday the 1st to attend your meeting remotely, but unless you have some reason you think I should be joining the visioning meeting, I'm not planning to join in on that remotely.
You're allowed to take vacation.
Hmm?
You're allowed to take vacation.
On the Welcome Center matter, there was a mention of the lease agreement that has come up, at least to me, here in the past month. So between the rail trail and the Welcome Center, the Rail Trail Committee is planning to put one of their kiosks in that location, plus some other things like a bike rack. And that area, well, at least part of that area, is under control of the state through their rail right of way. So they require a lease agreement for that. They sent us a sample of their lease agreement with Greensboro to look at and ask for information, which I reported to you that I did provide. And we're waiting now for the draft of the Johnson lease agreement to come back to us, but just for your information, it's written such that the initial term is 5 years. And there's possibility of 4 more 5-year extensions to that lease agreement. The rent is $1 per year with the full $5 due when you sign the initial agreement or each extension.
$5.
Yeah. The biggest matter to deal with is the certificate of insurance that the state's kind of wanting, just making sure that town follows through on that every year to have the certificate sent to the appropriate state agency. And then the last matter regarding the Welcome Center is that the kiosk. I mentioned to you that we're in search of storage. I did put 2 inquiries out today to potential places or owners who might be able to store those materials over the winter. I'm waiting for response from them. We don't find anything through these more direct contacts. Doug and I talked about posting something on Johnson's front porch forum, asking if there's a resident or a property owner out there that would loan us some space for the winter.
I can talk to Doug about that. I live right next door to him. We might be able to store it in our barn.
All right, so you'll talk with Doug?
I'll take a look, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving down the list, please stop me if you've got questions about anything that's written there, but the Recreation Economy for Rural Communities grant. Again, on Friday, I received an email from the program manager saying that she is back to work now. And she said that they would be in touch soon, she put it. about next steps. Right now, I think she's probably trying to catch up after being off from work for 5 weeks and probably some things piling up. So I had written to you that you should start talking about the steering committee. And maybe at the December 15th meeting.
This is what,
Again,
this is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
did you have the original list? We were talking about. Should be a select board member or two.
I do have the original list that Randall
Yeah, you
submitted.
said there were people that were not interested.
That's right, and I've contacted everybody and a couple of people have responded and said, yes, they are interested in continuing. A couple also responded and said they don't want to serve on the committee, but the vast majority haven't answered.
Could you send us that list with your comments? And also, did you get a list from the Recreation Task Force folks?
I got the message that that everybody on the task force was expressed interest in serving us. And then I think I followed up with somebody to actually get the actual names of the members. I think there were 7.
Would you
So,
like,
their official.
would you like their recommendations?
Yeah, I think.
They will meet again before the 15th, so they could come up with a list.
But you said you got a list of 7 names from the folks.
What I was told was that the task force members expressed interest in serving on the committee.
Okay.
Was there more than that?
I would have said there were more than 7. There's a lot more, 7 people that go to their meetings. I don't know if they're all in task force or not, though.
There's like 41 names on the task force from the original Reimagined, but there's only 2 active members.
On the recreation economy task force?
Yeah. Cause it started in July of, signups for that initially were in July of 24.
Yeah, the meetings that I've been to have at least like 20-25 people there.
Okay.
I don't know who's on the committee, who's just showing up like me, so.
They should be able to.
Lois does.
I attended all those committee meetings, and it's, the core group now is probably about 8 people, maybe 10. And so that 7 number sounds right, you say the whole list. I'm on the committee, but, I guess I decided I wasn't gonna do it, have them take my name on this one thing.
Did you ask them?
Volunteer, Lois didn't volunteer.
Did you ask them?
I asked somebody.
For-
for this
yeah,
because
Carl-
I don't
Carl's
know
asked-
somebody member's name, so
Yeah.
I asked for somebody.
Carl's asked for a list via email. They can follow up if
Okay.
you'd like to go to. a
Thank you.
meeting. Great.
Okay.
Anything further, Carl?
I'm not on my SEDS report unless the board has a question.
I don't. On the report. They're very detailed. They don't leave much for questions for me. It's a good thing.
Well, and it's helped to build some record for the successor.
Yep.
And look back at these reports and collect some information.
Okay. Next up on your items.
Yep, the TSSA, the Town Sewer Service Area Ordinance. You should have received a copy of the ordinance. Both by email on Friday, and then I believe in your packet again tonight. So I did follow up with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns Municipal Assistance Center to ask about the ordinance adoption process in a town like Johnson, and I was expecting to see that there's a 3-step process, but there's not. It's 2 steps. And the first step is just to decide you're going to say you're going to consider final adoption at a certain date. There's no public hearing required, so no requirements for giving notice of the public hearing. But you could go from tonight to next meeting on December 1st when you consider adopting the ordinance. It's after the adoption where the real work comes in with giving the public notice. It's fairly detailed about the public notice you have to provide of the adopted ordinance. And that includes giving the public a chance to circulate a petition to ask for a reconsideration or a town meeting to vote on the ordinance. I don't anticipate you would have that happen on a matter such as this. So especially since the ordinance is 95% the same as what we have right now. So the document that you have received is intended to be cleaned up from what we talked about 2 weeks ago. I did eliminate part of the one sentence as you asked for. And I did decide under the section or Article 7, our ordinances are repealed, to put in a paragraph about those two ordinances from 1977, just to keep that history there so that it's known that, yeah, there were ordinances in 1977 and they are in fact repealed. I left the date of the map blank until you decide when you think you're going to consider final adoption. And if you decide that tonight and tomorrow, I'll get in touch with the mapping person at the County Planning Commission and ask them to produce the map with that extra small lot next to the Laraway lot being shown as being added, and to put that date of December 1st on the map. And then we'll fill in that blank in the ordinance before it's signed.
I'm comfortable with it as is.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to approve this, or we'll just sign?
I think it might be good for the minutes that the select board does adopt a motion to direct that this ordinance be placed on the agenda for December 1st for consideration of adoption.
So moved.
Perfect.
Second.
Third. Who got the second? Who gets the third?
No, Mike's got it.
You're giving it to Mike?
Yeah.
Any further
So
discussion?
magnanimous.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the ayes have it.
Would we put a
Right.
copy of this on the website? Say that on 12/1 it will be considered, or
You can't hurt. It's cheap and
Yeah,
quick.
good idea. Just under,
Do you have a draft for December 1 started to add that to?
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yep.
Next up, Carl.
The next is the NBRC. Signature matter. And I put a copy of the resolution at your desk. Hopefully everybody found that. It's
Yeah, does anybody want it?
virtually the same resolution as you adopted in July, except they added the second whereas clause to give some explanation as why you're doing this again so
Yeah,
soon.
the signature.
Are you just signing?
Peter, do you want to? Do
What's that? Sign.
you want to approve? Do you want to read it before we talk about it?
I don't.
Or you have a copy at your desk?
Everybody should have a copy of
No,
it.
yeah. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I thought I had the only copy. I felt special for a second, Carl.
You are.
That went away quickly.
So the resolution states that Eben would be the authorized official. And I wrote the resolution to have Adrian sign it on behalf of the board, since Eben's being appointed, just to remove any doubt that, there's no conflict there. And if you vote to adopt this resolution, then I would ask Eben and Adrian to sign some forms, so I got that paperwork so I could submit it tomorrow. And Rosemary, are you here? Yeah, tomorrow, okay, so I get your signature on the resolution also. The forms are the exact same as what we did in July. except that now the authorized official is Eben, and the other form, this amendment request form, is exactly the same again, except for inserting Eben's name and getting his signature.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I'll give a copy of this, Donna.
Sure.
I could leave these with you. I've got things noted where Eben
Can you hand this to
and
me?
Adrian sign, and then you could give them to Rosemary.
You want to sign right now?
You want to take a minute, sign?
Yeah.
I'm not good with sticky notes, Carl. Oh.
We just signed.
Just
Just
signed
signed
the
it.
copy and gave it to Rosemary, but it had the little thing here.
Oh,
That's his-
do this one.
Do this one, I guess, throw that one.
That's
away.
the clean one.
It
Shred it.
was very on top of it, Carl. Oh. That's it.
Yeah, and the other one is the key
That was-
contact form. There's no signature.
That was very anticlimactic. Thank you, Rob.
Okay. You.
Almost $1 million.
We're all getting raises this year.
Anything else?
Drive careful.
Yeah.
Do you have as much snow and berry as
Speed
we have
wants to
here?
be-
Do you have as much snow and berry as we have here?
This morning when I left, there was as much there as there was here when I got here this morning. I don't know what happened.
Thank you very much for
I'll
your
see
hard
you,
work, Carl.
2 weeks on the screen.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Sounds
Carl.
good.
Yeah, Carl.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Good Thanksgiving.
Next up is the buyout process for Tom's transition, but I believe Sarah wanted to be here for that. Is the board okay if we handle the next couple items because we're a little bit ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Wait,
for
I am
Sarah,
online, Evan, sorry.
not here.
Sorry. Roads were not so awesome, so I didn't drive over. Sorry, but I am here so I can pay attention and listen and answer questions.
So the question from Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, is to have a signature authority for buyout properties after Tom's departure, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I think there's two pieces to the question, Evan, and I will defer to Tom in case I get any of this wrong or if you have other ways of looking at it. But right now in the buyout process, we are at the point of doing all the closings for the different property owners. And because these property owners have been waiting for so long, we don't want to have, we want to make sure that there is somebody that's designated to do the signing of those documents in a timely manner. We have one this week, the 20th, and then we have two right now that are scheduled for the 17th of December. And they seem to be coming up very quickly and with a kind of a sense of urgency on the part of the property owner. So I just wanted to make sure there's somebody, we know who's designated, we know that they can get information quickly and they can be available and understand kind of what the process entails for the town. The second part of the conversation, though, is about the demolition process. And as learned, we don't have visibility on that, but I wanted to highlight it to the board that it then becomes the responsibility of the town to kind of push forward the demolition process that is associated with the buyouts. So those are the two pieces of the puzzle that I'm seeking some support on.
What does push forward mean? What's the responsibility of the town exactly?
For which piece?
Demolition.
I don't know. That learn is not, we don't get involved in the demolition. So the buyouts are the town, the town is taking ownership of these properties, and per the memorandum of understanding that the town has signed with the Vermont Emergency Management, there are responsibilities that the town needs to take on for the demolition of those properties. And I don't have visibility on that, so I apologize, but there will need to be a conversation between VEM and whoever the designate is about what those responsibilities are.
I think keeping it kind of organized, Sarah, if we can back up and we have the immediate need for closing representation and property inspections. And I put a little note, and so I think, and then once we solve that, then solve the demolition piece. But
Okay.
they're very separate, right? And so having the first be, I put a little note in my packet that the buyouts are pretty straightforward in the closing, and it would be great if that person to represent the town be either Rosemary or Susan Tinker. They're in the office. The buyouts, the closing happens in the office, and I've already talked to Rosemary about this, and if she's willing, it would be ideal. Just to step out at the table. Closing part only. The next part is the so if you'd be willing to assign her just as a closing representative, Rosemary is ideal. The next piece is that the town has to sign up.
Is that the separate piece when we get onto the?
I think that's like, let's shake it into 3 parts. Part 1 is buyout representation at closing, with the board appoint Rosemary to represent the town.
You comfortable with that?
Or do you want Susan to take off your plate?
Either or.
Somebody make a motion for part
I make
A.
the-
Your motion is to authorize Rosemary
Rosemary to do it.
Oliver to sign closing documents for FEMA, for pre-approved FEMA buyout properties.
Or Susan? Is that what we're saying?
I guess we could put her down,
Okay,
or Susan.
Is there-
or Susan.
and or Susan. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor, or any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Rosemary. All right, part 2,
Part
sorry.
2 is the town has to sign off on a property inspection. You have to verify that personal belongings have been removed, and you have to verify there's no hazardous goods. They're 2 separate forms as part of the closing. Initially it felt I have not been able to connect with the person I feel is the most appropriate, being Scott Myers as a floodplain administrator. He would be perfect to do the property inspection on the behalf of the town. He's already an employee, so it would be billable hours. And it makes sense if he's going to be administering those properties, it would give him a sense of the layout of the area. He doesn't know about this yet because I wasn't able to connect. The next person that I put in my packet was Mike Dunham, just because I think he would find it fun.
I may find it fun, but I would hate to sign off on hazardous stuff if I said it was hazardous free and then all of a sudden something was found.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it, it's very visual. It's they have to sign off themselves that there's no hazardous materials. As part of the buyout application, and you're just verifying that what they said is true, and if you have questions, you just bring them to the surface. It's just a visual it's just a visual acknowledgement of anything that's not out of sight. Maybe a recommended motion would be the floodplain administrator or the select board, and then it could be any one of the 5 of you, but it would be nice to talk, it'd be nice to get a motion done today. So that, or if not today, at the December 1st meeting, I'm gonna take care of the one for Thursday at 11:30.
I think you do a good job.
We can leave it at Scott is the primary, and I could be the secondary.
So does the board want to make a motion for that? And this is site inspections and documentation.
It's just a site inspection. You're gonna have their own form. That's an inspection form. It's a 1-page. You just sign to say I did not see any hazardous materials. And that you did a site inspection, and that they took their belongings. And it's just like once it becomes a property of the town, then they're not supposed to be able, like you don't want someone to come back and say, oh, I need my bed or I need my dresser. And so you're just, during the property inspection, you're just gonna say, hey, do you want that or not? You know, they're supposed to get it all out of there. So this verifies that there's not a bunch of stuff left behind and verifies that if there is stuff left behind, then it's not hazardous.
Comfortable making a motion?
What?
I'll make a motion. Oh,
Adrian.
Adrian make the motion. I'll second it,
Okay.
whatever it is.
Push you makes it.
I'll make a motion that, is it Seth Meyer
It's
or Scott Meyer?
floodplain administrator.
Huh?
His position is the floodplain administrator.
I'll make a motion that the floodplain administrator and Mike Dunham are the authorized signatory people
For property inspections.
for property inspections for the FEMA buyouts.
It's gotta be primary, be second.
Yes.
Seconded.
Okay. Could you try to reach out to Scott under
Yeah.
further discussion? I do think he'd do a good job. He does a good job at everything, but I don't know his availability.
That's my concern. It's nice that he's an employee and it's nice that he is gonna have to have an intricate working of each property, so it would give him a nice introduction to everyone as well.
And it is fillable.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and the ayes have it. Part 3, Tom, do you have more, Sarah?
I mean, the last part that I was gonna note is the town will need to notify the legal team and BEM of these changes so that they can make sure that the closing documents are fall in line with the new with whoever is designated for the people that you just voted in as designates.
Do you have that paperwork, Tom?
Yeah, I have notes to do each one, so
Okay.
I'll reach out to them tomorrow, just let them know for the December 17th.
It will also be useful to know how to copy those people into the exchanges because these timelines are rolling and coming up.
I mean, worst case scenario, you can send it to Adrian or myself and we can forward it. If you
Okay.
don't have the email contact. Rosemary is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't have, so I have it. Nice.
Number 1 at townofjohnson.com.
Number 1. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, you know, these don't fall through the cracks in the transition.
What's the third one, Tom?
Is just a demolition. Just somebody from the town is, so what they wanted. Felt like the state has contract, they put it out to bid, there's statewide demo contractors. And so what this means is that somebody from the town, probably the next administrator, is just gonna have to organize that in groups, and they wanna do group demolition, so do all of Lower Main Street, do Railroad and River Road West. And our buildings are relatively close together, so it's not as big of an issue. They wanted to group buildings together, so they're demolishing all at once.
Yeah.
And just that coordination, just take time and coordination.
Do we have we have a pretty detailed list of the buyouts, but do we have like a map? Almost where we can say, you know, just make a little box, green, awaiting owner approval, red, awaiting demolition. We could just kind of.
Yeah, we have a bio tracker. We could
Yep.
The Excel form file you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
talking about
map.
very visual,
Yeah,
but the tracker's fine.
map to be made. Map.
But you don't think demolition's gonna be right up?
I don't think anything's gonna happen till the spring, especially because we're waiting on multiple properties to be grouped together. And then the last piece, I don't know if you remember, Johnson made a special request for recycled materials. And so, I'm still not done with that project, and even after I'm gone, I'm gonna keep it going, but there is an opportunity here where the town might be able to contract with Habitat for Humanity or Resource or Restore. To do the demolitions do partial demolition and deconstruction where they take out salvageable materials. They're no longer owned by the landowner, they're owned by the town. So the town is just reducing costs as part of the demolition process and nothing to do with the landowner. So having the town worked with a nonprofit to do demolition and deconstruction. To then salvage materials, so then it puts less materials into the landfill. And just making sure that it does not in any way affect any of the current residents. And
You said you're at what stage? Asking about that?
we're still, it needs FEMA approval, so it's
Oh.
very much theoretical.
Okay.
Base, but I think it's to me, it's a cause worth continuing.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I'm a volunteer or a town administrator.
That's more of a heads up, I guess. Can
That
you
whoever
put
the-
that in old business, FEMA? Purchased buyout property demolition, demolition planning,
Demolition planning.
demolition. Are you all set, Sarah?
Yep, appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for all you guys do.
Thank you.
All right, next item up, we have employee cost of living adjustments. I believe the board received an email. No, did I not send out another email? Currently, we do cost of living adjustments, or in the past have done it based on what our union contract is. I know it's somewhat odd, but we use the previous year's November CPIU 12-month average to set the increases taking effect January 1st. What that's allowed us to do is budget. And while it lags on the rise, it also lags on the fall. So the employees will never be $1 short. And what we have budgeted is based on that number, and we have a 3.5% cost of living increase budgeted for all non-union employees. While we are in contract negotiations, that is what the union's contract would state,
That is,
the 3.5%.
I think you did send something a while back.
It's very confusing. I don't think it's that confusing, but it's something, right?
It's just peculiar.
The village has set their wage increases for village employees based on 3.5%. And historically, we've been equivalent to them. I think their motion is contingent upon us approving 3.5% as well.
I move to accept the 2024 Consumer Price Index for the Northeast region of 3.5% for salary increases effective January 1st, 2026 for all union employees.
All
Second.
non-union or on union?
Non-union.
There's a motion and is
Second.
there further discussion? You got something?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item up is health insurance coverage for non-union employees. Historically, the town and village have never selected a plan. What we have done is paid 90% of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Gold Standard plan, and employees have been able to select the plan that they want. I believe I sent an email out about this. And if my math is correct, our health insurance plan has increased by 5.272%. Did anybody check my math?
Did.
You did?
Thank you.
Did you actually see that email?
We were.
Well, the packets are public now.
They
We
asked
could
for,
post.
they asked for a copy. Yeah.
Was my math right?
Yeah, well, you budgeted 10%, so 5.2 was great.
I asked if anybody checked my math,
Oh,
not
yeah.
what we budgeted.
Yes.
So we did budget for a 10% increase, but that's just a wild, I think we throw a dart in the air. Cause pretty soon we'll be saying, I think health insurance will increase in 2027 by X.
Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield went to the state and asked for a 23.4% increase or something absurd, and the state said no, and they ended up with this, so I think 10% was pretty good, you know, I don't think we have any knowledge.
It's a
Yeah,
scientific wild guess. So what would the board like to do for the health insurance coverage for non-union employees?
Now, your chart, you made this chart, did you?
No,
Where'd it come from?
it comes from our budget. I mean, Duncan
Okay,
made
but
the
we got
original one,
arrows
but Tom
in here.
edited it.
We got these red arrows.
Yep,
Okay, so what you're saying over here, the employee contribution. So if somebody had a family, we would be putting $37,992 into that. Because it's down here at 31.66, 31 per month. Monthly contribution.
that is not really what I'm saying. What that says is we budgeted that amount. The actual amounts, unless I'm wrong, are this, which you'll notice are lower monthly costs than what we had budgeted. Because this is the full plan.
So looking at this side, you're saying carried is what we budgeted.
Oh,
This is the actual.
we got a different one then. This one here you're talking about?
This is what we carried for a cost increase. This is what the actual cost increase is if we stay at par. And these are based on the 90% that we pay.
Yeah, so what is, I didn't know what this table was either. This one makes sense to me. What's this one?
This is our budget. This is the snip from our budget.
Okay.
So the reason it's broken, you can go for it if you want. The reason it's broken out because we're a fiscal year, not a calendar year. So we have to carry health insurance on all of our employees. Like if you look at the dates right next to the 10%, we carried, because these are known costs for a single 2-person parent and family plan, those amounts. And then we fictitiously added 10% and we carried these amounts for these plans for the next 6 months.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Well, even all this aside, I think we're paying way too much money out there. And somehow we've got to get this under control. Because the increases for the employees are a lot less than a lot of other people in this community have to suffer through. So we need to either find some other vehicle to give our employees insurance and to get away from this Blue Cross Blue Shield. And spend actually less money for the taxpayers.
We could certainly plan more during the budget season. The question tonight is what do we do as of January 1st? For all non-union employees.
Again, we're all backed into a corner.
I pulled up one out, so I plugged in all the numbers for health insurance already. This is our working budget we have. And I checked with Evan's math as well. It's very accurate. But unless you change the percentage of contribution, unless you change what level of
Plan.
the other option is we do this thing that's kind of unique. And I would say this is a gift to the employees. Is you set the standard at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And if somebody purchases under MVP, they get the amount of Blue Cross Blue Shield. So some people might even, if MVP is less, then they get a little bit in their check. Is that correct, Rosemary? And it would be, I think, a firm recommendation that we move the MVP healthcare as the standard. And that would save, and I plugged those numbers in there too, and it would be an annual savings right off of $8,531.58. And how many people are on Blue Cross Blue Shield? That's what I don't. And one. Is everyone else already on MVP? That would allow the same level of care, reduction in cost without affecting our employees, other than that little bump that they get because we set the standard at Blue Cross, but if they take something less, they get the cash difference. So our employees would lose the cash difference. I believe it's a fundamental question that needs to be asked, and this is very important, do you view benefits as we need our employees to have health insurance? And it's health insurance only, or do you view benefits as a cash value? If you believe it as a cash value and part of their income, then all employees, whether they're if someone's a family and gets $37,000 worth of benefits, then every other employee better get $37,000. But if it's not a cash value and you're just taking care of the employee and its family, well, then you're just taking care of the employee and the family, and and that's all that matters, and there should be no cash benefit. I mean, that's just how I feel, but I believe you kind of have to go one or the other, but to do anything in between is you're leaving somebody out. You know, it's not fair to have someone take cash in lieu of benefits just because they're married, but if you're a single person, you don't have that option because you're required to have health insurance.
I don't agree with that. I'm just one board member.
I have two questions. One, well, it's not a question, just because it was pointed out with the cost of living, the trustees have agreed to 90% of Blue Cross Blue Shield for the next year. Two, are you talking about covering 100% of the MVP premiums for the plans, or 90%?
I think it would be the same 90%. That's just my recommendation. I mean, I'm not gonna receive that benefit, so that I know other towns have gone to MVP as their standard as opposed to Blue Cross Blue Shield or the savings without the change. And if it's truly just taking care of the employee, you're still taking care of your employee.
I believe everybody should be paid with one person, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's what we ought to offer as MVP, and that's it.
We wrestle with this every year.
I know.
It is.
No one's gonna be happy, you know, everyone's gonna.
Well, you know, that's the nature of the beast. You can't make everybody happy any more than any board member here can make everybody in the town happy.
How much money do we spend on health insurance total?
This year,
Way too
the
much.
projected amount with increases is $189,590.52.
No. Is that just office?
Office is $79,622.
Well, fair enough. And then you have library.
Library, $17,437.
I feel like it's late to rock the boat, but.
Too late to rock the boat. It's always too late.
I feel like it's late to rock the boat for what we budgeted for. I do agree that every dollar that's spent. And we wrestle with this every year. I copied Adrian on an email to VLCT. Because I'd like them to start. I believe it's called a captive insurance plan. Where you there's large companies that do it.
Yeah,
And they used to do that.
they did, yeah.
Why'd they stop?
Well, they used to do that, and then they used to provide advice for towns on how to manage health insurance and out of the health, because the state started a great health connect. And so VLC didn't have to do it because the towns all bought into the state system. So the town, before it was like the town had its thing, the state had its thing. Now the towns joined the state's thing, the Health Connect. And then VLCT provided free advice on how to help navigate that. Now they stopped that. Now you have to pay a consultant for that advice on how to navigate that. We're kind of on our own. And I think, you know, this is something we look at every single year. And I think it really, I mean, you're gonna have to come down to that question of, what is the purpose of benefits? What's the purpose of offering benefits to your employees? Is it retention? Is it trying to get better employees in the door? Is it cash value? The answer doesn't matter, but I think answering that question first can help guide will be your follow-up question will be solve the problem.
Well, it does matter if our answer is it's cash and we have a bunch of single employees who also we have to give $30,000 cash to because they're not taking family plan insurance. That's a real cost that we don't currently bear.
Currently, there's only one person on the family.
So everybody else would get the cash.
It's
value.
either one person or circle cash. Well,
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
that
that's not realistic.
Does the town, You pay out the full cash payment if they don't take it?
No, it's 50%.
Would you say
50%.
50%?
It's 50% of the 90% of the single person. It's 50% of what the town would pay for a single person plan. Is the buyout option. We pay
I
you
thought it
not
was.
to be on our insurance. I view it as a benefit, and the way past boards have done it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, kind of just gives us the ability to be fair to all and say,
Yeah.
this is what we're budgeted. I don't know if any employees with more health issues purchase a platinum plan versus a gold plan or what have you, but they pay the difference. I don't know.
So why are we paying 90% of the more expensive plan? Why wouldn't we pay 90% of the less expensive plan and save town some money?
Maybe Rosemary has the answer
Good
for that.
question.
It's been Blue Cross
What
Blue
first
Shield.
second you're pretty close. In price.
They're still close in price.
Then MVP went to an HMO model, and that moved a lot of people to just Blue Cross Blue Shield, but now MVP is now a competitive plan. I think it's within like $60 a month. It's pretty close.
If our total's 189,000, we're talking about $9,000, that's what? 4.5%, 5% different. Like they're comparable is my point in price.
So I can read that from here. If we switched everybody to MVP, we save a little under $9,000 a year.
About a third of a penny on our tax rate.
Correct. I mean, it's a happy medium. I mean, again, I'm just, at this point, I'm just a dead opinion. Like, let's, I think call it what it is and tell them to stop talking, but. You have an obligation to the taxpayers and an obligation to employees. No matter what you do, you're not doing right, you know? And this felt like a happy medium where you are doing cost savings for the taxpayers, but you're not reducing services to the employees.
But if you change to MVP at 9%, the employees are gonna get less pay in their paycheck.
If you view it as a cash benefit, yes.
I think that's assuming that all taxpayers want you to just save money and not have employees have the best benefits that we can provide. And myself as a taxpayer, that I want employees to have the best benefits that they can have.
So,
And I don't care if it increases my tax.
and so are you saying, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's a good point, but are you saying that Blue Cross Blue Shield is a better insurance company than MVP, or you just want to give the employees more money?
Give them more money.
And so why am I as a single person, I feel I'm discriminated against because married people have the opportunity for a cash benefit that I can't have. And instead, I'm losing money out of my paycheck or at 10% of the cost of insurance. But if I was married, I could take my wife's insurance and get cash in my check. And so that two person family is now getting further ahead than the single parent.
Just get on the health insurance.
I'd rather leave things just as they are and go with your observations.
So can I just clarify, currently, we do offer that benefit. If I'm married, I'm on my wife's insurance, I work for the town, I can get 50% of what the
50% of the 90% of single plan.
What
It's
town would
the
pay
purchase
for that.
out. But
It's like $500 a month, $400 a month.
if you got a divorce or your wife passed away, I hate to talk bleakly here. You would then be able to sign up for a health insurance plan and you would lose that opt-out amount.
Yeah, right. Okay, sorry.
Let's leave things just the way they are and move on.
What do you have to say, Lydia?
I just wanted to say as a taxpayer and a ratepayer and an employee, I would love to leave things the way they are and maybe have a more broad conversation with employees about what they want coverage for in the future and what makes sense for taxpayers. Because this is a big discussion every year. And if we can find a happy medium that may not be this, but something else, I think we're all open to it because it's, I know Mike thinks it's silly, but it is stressful for us every year having you guys decide something that could, you know, cost more money for us to make our paychecks go down, whatever.
Yeah.
What'd you say? I think it's silly, you said?
Well, last year you said, well, they've never been hit by a rocket in Afghanistan or something, so this.
What'd I say?
You said something about being hit with rockets in Afghanistan.
Oh,
is
goodness.
More stressful than health insurance.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right.
All right,
I'm feeling like,
making a motion.
yeah, making a motion, but, here we are in November, it's budget time. We faced the same thing last year. I think we should keep things the way they are. And after the first of the year, start to work cooperatively with the trustees and the employees on figuring this out, not wait till November.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said. We're between a rock and a hard.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I like what Mike said.
The complication is the two union contracts that are set in stone. We could keep them in limbo.
I think we just go into negotiations and say health insurance is to follow the personnel policy.
Let's call this question, you know, but
Somebody's gotta make a motion.
What's the motion? I'll
So-
make it.
Continue the town's health insurance benefit structure as is.
yeah, that's good.
Is that
Move
clear?
it.
Is that clear? Is
Which the employees pay 90% of.
that clear, Donna?
Yeah, please, thanks.
So is it enough to say continue it as it is, paying 90% of the Blue Cross Blue
Shield Gold Standard Plan.
Gold plan for a single?
I think it's Gold Standard Plan.
Or no, I guess it doesn't matter. Or is it not? Doesn't. matter.
Doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and then I
Who
wrote,
made that motion?
I said that Peter did.
Okay,
Oh,
all
second.
Okay,
right, Mike made a second. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The other thing the trustees did was approve a holiday. I think it's below our procurement policy. We're good. A holiday party expense of $400. That's within our procurement policy, right?
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Okay, we're good. No board surprises. I love it. Board members are not invited. You can go, Peter.
okay.
I expect to see all the board members there.
What? They don't like us.
Like, come on.
Wow. Can I get a recording of that?
wait, what's the party?
It's just a holiday.
Oh, okay.
I think the top include and there's an ugly sweater. That's that David and win again.
Yes.
David had an ugly sweater?
Oh,
What a toy.
he's
fine.
fine.
Does he wear the same sweater?
Different toy.
It's got a picture of you on the front.
He wins most beautiful animal. Oh,
Did he make it himself or did he buy it somewhere?
on special.
Oh, that's where you get it, the ugly sweater.
Yeah, I took-
Now, that's come from Amazon or can you get it at the thrift store or something?
I need to buy it. I need to borrow a t-shirt from you for my ugly sweater contest.
Sweater and said ugliest sweater. Never play.
No, really. Which one?
Not one
I'll
person.
talk after.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
down.
Thanks.
All right, next up. First pass on the budget.
What's the weather?
I don't know how the board wants to do it this year. Ever since I've been on the board, we've done it different every year. And I find value in every way that we do it. With some newer board members, I feel like going line by line, how we used to do it is helpful, but how does the board want to do the budget?
Is there,
Does have a write-up and we could look at these items. I just feel like it gets us jumpy. Not focused on the overall budget.
is there anything to focus on, well, with Tom's last week, like, to focus on going over?
The whole thing.
What are you thinking?
Well, are we able to get through the whole thing tonight?
No, I don't even know if we could get through revenue and
That's what I'm saying.
half of the expense.
Is there one particular place to focus on?
Put
That's-
in my
That's
write
what
up,
Tom
I
makes
think
this write-up for.
if you could address those two, few things, they put committees questions at bed, and then, but I think the big ones really are the highway reserve fund and the cash on hand. Rosemary and I spoke about cash on hand, that'll probably be ready, I don't know, maybe December, to the meeting in December. But, and then the highway reserve fund, make sure that that spreadsheet is done, but your biggest challenge this year is going to be, use that cash on hand and
Didn't we have cash on hand at 359,755?
that was, I don't know. So we have to figure out, make sure that that's ready to put into the budget, and then when all those reserve funds are updated. This is a year where last year we budgeted 180,000 to reduce taxes. We also have a long-standing process that's probably needs to come to an end sooner than later, and that's the anticipated surplus. Moving to an audited amount or the actual amount from the end of year, but what that does is it will leave 1 year without a surplus. And that this, with the large cash on hand, this might be the year. That,
Does the board follow what Tom is saying?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
and the audited amount, I'm trying to remember how that's. We taking. That year's audited amount or an average of years.
what I think happened is at some time, somebody said, we have a surplus every year, let's take a guess at it. When they took a guess at it and they added it into the budget, it added revenue, and that reduced the tax rate.
Yeah.
We have to go to an audited amount or a known amount, because that fluctuates every year. And when you get to that point of that amount should be done in the same way that we're doing health insurance or our salaries, we're doing it based on a 2024 number for fiscal year 27. But that means it's a year with nothing. And so this might be the year of nothing because we have the money last year more than what we thought.
So I believe they used to have audits done every 2 years, which is what facilitated the need to estimate the surplus. It's for like every jump year. And when we went to every year audits, we never got away from it because we got behind.
We don't do an audit every year.
Yeah, we are now, but they're a little bit long.
They're not in real time. So you can't, like, just getting the audit that year ends on June 30th, but getting it for this year's budget is not reasonable. So I mean, it might be some years, but not every year.
What's the dollar figure changes by pennies usually? Not very much.
I noticed something with taxes, when are we gonna have the tax it?
Another thing that the ward should understand as part of the cash on hand is delinquent taxes. Right? Out of that 359. How much of that is delinquent taxes? I don't
A
know.
lot of money, over 200,000.
Is that in the sheet, Rosemary?
Yeah, it's on the sheet.
That might be on the second page.
And it's been to get it.
We go line by line, are we like saying, hey, this one's good? Like, I don't know what we're doing.
Not necessarily they change, but you get a chance to understand every line. Some of them are silly. But if we want to jump around, we can jump around.
I don't care.
Kind of looking for how the board wants to do it.
Line 494, delinquent taxes to $239,423.81.
Not bad.
That is on that particular day.
Yeah,
So
So we've got a cash on hand of 350 and delinquent taxes are 240.
We usually get them,
but
right?
so that really, I think what's important of that is that you know, you really only have 120 some odd thousand, whatever, of actual cash on hand. The rest is.
Well, that's where I'm going.
Cash
Exactly.
equivalent?
Yeah, it's not real cash.
And the problem with the anticipated surplus is you budget a number. We budgeted $180,000 to go towards taxes, but 60 of that is from tax sales that haven't happened.
No, we budgeted 180,000, but we only had 120. The other 60,000 was estimated surplus. Estimated surplus was us sitting here in November and December saying by July, we're only gonna spend X amount on this. So we're estimating, which I totally agree with Tom. I dislike the estimated surplus. I'm just trying to explain
The
it.
estimated
That was
surplus is your,
cash estimated unspent.
as opposed to looking backwards and saying, we had this much left over last year. Therefore, you really haven't.
Yeah, last year was we have this much left over last year, and we think we'll have this much left over by the end of July.
So I like the idea of moving to an audited surplus measure. But I don't like the idea of saying we have 350 in cash on hand, but we don't.
What do you mean? It's been that way every year.
What did you say?
It's been that way every year.
So that's an average number for delinquent taxes, that's normal.
It was higher this year than last.
Because we haven't had a tax sale for a couple of years. 2-3 years.
Yeah, and did some of the subsidies for taxes end where people weren't actually paying their.
Or set a month and a half out from tax due date to.
Yep.
45 days.
Yeah. And the last installment usually rolls in a good amount, doesn't it? That's due.
Okay.
There you go.
You wanna do this Wednesday night? Start right from the finish.
Do we want to have another meeting on Wednesday?
Yeah.
How's the board want to handle the budget? We can jump around. I'm fine with it. Feel like we're,
I'm wondering, could we take this and digest it and mark if we have a question or a concern about a line, bring that up, but not sit here and go through line by line? You know, does anybody have a question about fees and fees, licenses and fines? Oh, nope.
I do. Do you think that's an accurate number?
I would benefit from hearing the conversation, frankly.
Line by line?
Yeah, I mean, some of them we don't have to spend a lot of time on. We don't have to spend a lot of time talking about dog licenses, but. I mean, it's the first one I've ever seen.
Why was
I
there?
do think the pilot payment's gonna go down.
Yeah.
It's going out again.
Oh, yeah.
It's multiplied by the CLA. Is our CLA gonna drop? Did it drop from last year?
Should know in case for yeah.
Do you think it's gonna go up?
And there was
I think it's gonna go up, actually.
And the legislator, it's on the floor to be decided by the legislature, I think right off in January. The VLCT in one of the newsletters said there's something about the CLA being, there's something to address pilot payment.
We should get our CLA with Jamie.
Yeah, and I think the legislature, there's a proposal for make a change. So that it doesn't, because the CLA is disproportionately affecting pilot pays across the state. And so if they don't correct it now, the state's gonna get, their bill's gonna jump, you know, it's not just a us problem, it's a state problem when it gets corrected.
But they won't fully fund it if it jumps anyways. They're only gonna fund it for 40% of what they receive on the options tax, right? After admin.
Okay, so here are my thoughts. I'd like to go through the budget. I don't think we have time to do it tonight. But since Friday is Tom's last day, are there things on this question sheet that we should be talking about to at least get our thoughts in order, get Tom's thoughts so we can plug them into our later conversations?
Can we get the full Excel file.
Yeah, yeah. This was saved at 5:53 PM.
All right, Tom, what are your questions?
So some of them are simple, some of them are longer, but at least you could see, the one is, the Holcomb House. I met with the Historical Society. Their budget looks great. However, there's some issues to the house that they would like, the board to be aware of and for the board to decide whether or not they want to make those changes or not. One is insulating the south wall, estimate of $5,000. This would prevent the ice dam, which we're currently paying anywhere between 500 and 1,000 to repair both annually. The other one is a roof replacement, estimate $20,000. And then 3 was the upstairs. There's kind of an office in the back through the bathroom, and just kind of repairing the floor system so it's not at an estimate of 10,000. Does the select board want to raise additional taxes to make any of the above capital improvements? And then what, if any, additional information would you need to make a determination at a future meeting?
How's the board feel? I mean, they did tell us in no uncertain terms that the little lecture hall, they don't cost the taxpayers money. Was I the only one there?
Say it again. Sorry, my battery's
It was
died.
made clear that the Historic Society does not cost the taxpayers money. Looks like they're asking for 35,000.
Can I clarify that, Evan?
You
The
get it.
Historical Society doesn't cost the town any money, but the Holcomb House does.
Yeah.
And if we were to get rid of the Holcomb House,
You'd have an awful lot of artifacts to put here or someplace, I would guess.
sure.
I think we should replace the roof.
Our priority is the east wall, because that leaks each year. Right now, we're thinking we have to take all the art down, store it someplace for the winter, because we can't count on not having that back up. As soon as we get ice up along that wall, it's a problem.
So you said insulating the south walls, the top priority?
Right,
Okay.
I think of it as the east wall, the east room wall.
Okay.
So this could.
Do you think we could spend money on this building this year?
Well, this is like the question is, if you're ready to spend the money, let's put a place like, so if you jump to a line 246, we have a capital improvement line of the select board's discretion, Dr. Holcomb House building capital expense. We spend 40,500 in replacing the knob and tube wiring that the insurance company paid for. We could throw a number in here and leave it flagged and then take it out later, but if you're willing to take on, if we have the cash on hand and we don't have a heavy highway reserve fund expense this year, because we paid off two vehicles, this might be the year to spend $20,000 on the Holcomb House or not, but at least you can throw it in and flag it for later discussion as an option to come out or not.
Throw in 15 grand and bring in 15 from buildings and grounds reserve fund.
You do all three of them.
20 plus 10 plus 5 is not 15, but I would do 5,000 plus 10,000. That's just me.
What's the floor, Lois?
It's a trampoline on the second.
Guys, we call it the squishy floor. Literally feels squishy.
Ew.
And it's the downstairs, it's the area that's over the main part of the back of the building. Where everybody, we have a group meeting, everybody's sitting there. And, who's to say something might just have panels falling down? Is it saying?
I don't like to walk in the middle. Like I'm 250 and I make a move.
Well, it's like a trampoline.
We won't walk on it.
We have building inspection. Sorry to interrupt. We have building inspection.
You said
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
Do you think buildings and grounds is healthy enough? 88,
What's the balance?
exactly, I don't know. $188,040. That was July 1. Did we chuck any money in it last year? This is funny money to me too.
But you're not gonna wanna replace the roof this time of year. I do.
Well, this would be after July 1.
Yeah. We'll have one
Is
after July.
is the roof, it just needs to be replaced, or is there like a leak or like something significant going on there?
Well, any inspections that we've had, they have said that the roof needs to be replaced.
Hmm.
It's not leaking at this point.
Okay.
Were you talking about this year or next year?
I was thinking after July 1.
Let's dump the 20,000 in before July 1 and then bring in 15 after and spend the 15.
So I'm gonna go,
These are not guarantees. I reserve the right to change my mind.
I'm gonna,
And I'm also just one board member. The rest of these people could say
You
no.
could if you insulated the south wall, are you saying that might alleviate some of the ice problem?
Yeah, that's what we've been told.
Okay,
Yeah.
so why don't we just fix that now?
That'd be great.
So you're saying the 5,000.
Right.
And maybe we'll do the 5 and the
July 1st.
we'll do the 5 and the 10 now and do the 20 after July 1st. So we
We can
bring
do
20 in from buildings and grounds.
Sure, but we should fix the wall now, and that might save more damage to,
Now is before July 1.
right.
so
Great.
Lois, could, very quickly, would you, within the next 2 weeks, get 2 firm quotes on those? Those were estimates, but if we could get 2 firm quotes, then the board would know exactly what it would cost before on this year's budget to make that decision. And then next year's for the roof.
And just so all board members know, like we're talking about this year's money.
Mhm.
If we have a bad mud season and we do this, we may run a deficit.
Okay.
Doubtful, but possible. Trying to spend $15,000 for the money that was not planned.
What's coming out, is it gonna come out of the reserve fund?
I wasn't proposing that this year. I was saying 20 out July 1.
But is the tower, what we split it down,
That's why I was asking, is there any work to do on this building?
the tower still needs,
Yeah.
I don't think we should work on this
Village is
building.
supposed to take care of the tower.
Well, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from yesterday, those wastewater treatment facility plans went to FEMA, CRC, Cost Recovery Center, with relocation in mind.
Yeah.
And if the CRC approved relocation, the state went to bat for Johnson, Ludlow, and Hardwick to include floodplain regulations and zoning regulations as part of codes and standards, and it was received and accepted. Our floodplain regulations do not allow the reconstruction of the treatment plant where it is, it's in the floodway. And so underneath our own regulations, which were in 1998, the building was built in 1995, that building would have to move. And so, and FEMA would pay for all of it. If I don't know that it's wise to put any more money into this unless it's something we could take with us to a new spot.
Right.
Okay,
We're not gonna move this building.
we haven't answered Tom's first question. Definitely not as a board.
What you were suggesting and reserve the right to change your mind. What you were suggesting was 15,000 this year
Was on plan. Yeah.
out of where?
Thin air.
Thin air, okay,
I'm assuming that will run $15,000 in surplus.
okay.
If we don't,
And then after July 1st, the roof coming from
buildings and grounds reserve. fund.
reserve.
So pulling $20,000 in from reserve fund
Mhm.
as revenue. And then spending 20,000. It's cash in, cash in.
I like your idea.
But
It's 15 grand.
I reserve the right to change my mind on anything. Until we actually have a full budget. It is very difficult. We're shooting for 2.8 and we're already looking at 3.7. And And that might be fine, 3.9. And that's assuming that we still apply $180,000 of surplus. We haven't even got the big ticket items yet.
If we can end up with 3.9, I think that would be good anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So I like Evan's proposal as a working hypothesis.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's consensus on your 3 items there, Tom. Right? Next item up.
Can I just ask, you want me to get the 2 firm quotes for
Insulation.
the insulation?
So
Yeah, I think they would need the quotes like as soon as possible.
Okay.
On the
I'm not trying
wall,
to be a stickler here, Lois. Between 5,000 and 10,000, there should be a request for proposal and bids. So if you get a firm quote, that's fine, but we should put out RFP.
Well, they
Fire
could,
procurement policy, right?
yes. I mean, unless you do them as 2 different, I mean, I'm not trying to like get around the RFP process, but we're making it more complicated than it is. You know what you want to do. You have 2 jobs and you just call around and you need numbers to put in a budget, not to do the work. And so if you say, hey, how much does it cost to fix this east wall? How much does it cost to do this floor? And it comes back at 7,500, the board says we don't have to do anything. But if it comes back at 12,000, it's the board's option to do something or not. But let's get the numbers so then the board can make a decision.
I need firm numbers on all of it,
I think we.
but I was hoping to do the work.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. At least the insulation. Bare minimum insulation.
But we didn't budget for that.
So here's.
Although, what are you year-to-date spend on your? Am I too far?
The bottom, the second page.
Didn't we have money allocated for? What's the building fund?
Within the historical society budget.
Yes.
On like 45 or somewhere around there.
This is where.
You have to look at the buildings and grounds.
341. Well, they have a building fund. Which has 1,000, and then they have buildings and grounds, which has 1,500.
But you gotta look under buildings and grounds, the town budget. It's still, you know.
You had money budgeted for this year, I was gonna propose we spend it on that, that's all.
Money that we have is for doing some of the little things that we have to do within our budget. So we maintain our. Cleaning and all that kind of stuff.
We should show it as spend in historic society, I think you have it. Right,
This is what, which section?
are you under select board expense?
So under select board expense, I
Yeah.
just added 15,000 for this year. Under Dr. Holcomb House capital expense. Electrical work, 40,000. 15,000 for floor and east wall,
This is where,
and then
what line is it?
246. And then 20,000 roof and FY 27,
246?
156.
246.
Oh,
Why are you adding 40,000 for electrical? I'm talking.
Oh, this is money spent. So we already spent 40 and we're gonna ask to spend 15 additional this year. So
But you
total,
show the 40 coming in as revenue, right?
Yeah.
We're already planning on spending 6,000 on it anyways. Sounds like your east wall project's a go.
Okay.
How can you do that when the insurance company paid the 40,000?
so you have to show that you spent it, and then you're gonna show somewhere else that you received it.
And revenue.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
Money and money.
so I'm not clear. Are we asking for real estimates on all 3 things or just the wall and the floor?
All 3,
Oh, well, great.
yes.
get it done.
Okay.
Oh, we can-
That makes sense, fine. Okay, so it's fine.
Understanding that asking for numbers doesn't follow the procurement policy. And I reserve my right to change my mind. But I'm only one member. It's a good news.
So just so I can
Guys could
keep track of how the budget works, where are you putting these numbers, Tom? What are you putting where? What?
So you have to, so what's coming out of the building fund, the 20,000 for the roof shows up in two places. That's gonna show up first in revenue in line 48. So buildings and equipment. restricted fund.
there. Yeah, you gotta get revenue is up high.
So,
Buildings, okay, equipment, blah, blah, blah.
so I have estimated final 25,000. And then I put in for FY 27, I have for municipal building clock tower, 25,000 and Holcomb House roof, 20,000 match expense. So when you receive.
We're not doing the tower. Dump it down to 20,
Dump it.
right? Just recommended we don't do it. But you kept 25.
That's on last year's.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're changing it, so you're not leaving the 25 in there anymore.
No. Huh?
And then, so that's the revenue side, and then. The match to that, the expense is a two-part expense. On line 246, you're gonna show estimated final 40,529 for the electrical work that was done from the lightning strike, with plus an additional 15,000 for the floor and wall installation, totaling 55,000 under FY 26 estimated final. And under
You following this, Peter?
Hmm?
Following this?
My hearing aid batteries died, so I'm having a hard time hearing everybody.
And then under FY 27 proposed $20,000 for roof in FY 27. And I have little cute notes and they will be highlighted orange. Anything orange on the digital file you get is a select board decision needed. So it's flagged in here, but at a later date, you guys are gonna have to say, yeah, yes or no. Yeah. I just don't want to change numbers without you guys, because it's easy to pass.
Yeah,
over
no,
stuff.
no, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay, I just want to be able to see it. Okay, question 2. Now we're rolling here.
This is the biggest question of the night, the most important question. So Isabel has done a really amazing job. She's dropped $15,000 of taxpayer revenue down to 5 by making rec programs pay for themselves. But what that does is the slightest increase to her budget makes her percentage increase greater really fast, right? Because she's got recreation down to about $5,000 a year, excluding salaries. And that's just for mowing of it's the maintenance around the baseball diamonds really of homes of Old Mill Park. He wants to take a 3-day training for $400. Would the board allow her to go over the 2.8% increase for a $400 training?
Of course. This is in
And can we increase? the
next
fee
fiscal year.
to Cover it.
Why can't it go under professional training and go? Further that budget?
Just spread some more under that line. That's fine. I don't care. I was just wondering if Brett could raise their revenue for.
I may move, we approve $400 for training for Isabel.
I'll second.
So
This is for a budget that doesn't start till
Okay.
July 1.
All right, well, I just, all right.
We approve a budget.
It's for me, it's a no-brainer. $400 well spent.
I wasn't arguing that.
We should.
I didn't think you
support
would.
it. I think Evan had a good question of could we raise the money instead of just.
Sorry,
And Rosemary had a good point that it shouldn't go under Rex budget anyways.
Oh, what should it go under? I missed that.
Professional training line.
all right,
Oh,
so rec has its own professional training line.
Send it in there. It's more
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
It's more for Rosemary to account for, but.
So she was considered part of the office, so she got a 3.5% increase in pay.
Right,
Everybody.
all non.
Just want to make sure that she. got her- They didn't apply.
Like she took on a mission, like killed it. I think it's important to note that she really did match the revenue and expense lines. She went from a $15,000 cost to the taxpayer down to $5,000 cost to the taxpayer in the last year by making programs pay for themselves. So she's really she's paid her way. I mean, she's done an amazing job. And I think that $400 in training is, you know, she could have left the budget as it was the last year too and made it so it just kept, you know, instead of saving the town 10,000, she could have just kept it there. So
Maybe I give her a bonus.
now you're talking.
50% of what she saves.
Right.
That would be quite a nice.
So what line is that? We
Speaking
added
of
$200
Rex-
to, Tom.
Line 293.
Speaking of,
Hey, look at that. So that's FY year 26 final.
It would be FY 27 proposed.
speaking of rec,
Which is already in there.
why aren't we showing revenue from soccer?
We have revenue, but I'm not sure when, downloaded his figures.
Oh yeah, I didn't do anything today. Because it didn't, I asked Lydia around 3:30. Bills were in, but she didn't think the GL received it.
Talking about revenue,
We also have revenue from swimming.
those are in there, but I'm not sure when Tom.
It was 2 weeks. I do it right before the select board meeting. After bills is what I
It was
use.
right around. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
So this is. I mean, I think this is generally a January conversation, or, so I don't. Probably, I think it's. I don't know how valuable it would be to open up the highway reserve fund right now, but
I'll put it up.
I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that this section. We don't have a lot of payments this year. So. Which means that gives us the opportunity to maybe. Fund, if it lower, right now we're looking at an increase, but if we lower the amount of taxes enough. We might be able to increase our contribution to this fund. Just because it gets low, it gets down to 100,000, gets down to 60,000, 90,000. And then it goes negative in 3940. But like a small contribution today can help a lot.
So you're saying increase it.
Just saying like, hey, we're not paying for a truck and this one's right here. Oh, sorry, I slid up. But like, we're not paying for a truck that, you know, this section here, we only have one payment. And so if you have extra money, it's a great time to make a contribution to. Every year I always make a kick that I like to pay for paving funds and highway capital funds, because trucks are never as expensive as we budget for. They're always more. We end up paying more than we budget. And sometimes we're gonna have problems where things die unexpectedly. So the more money that's in there, the less it costs taxpayers later. But
Am I confused? My question was, do you want to put more in than we're already budgeting for?
yes, I guess I didn't understand your question.
Cause we're already budgeting what, 7,000 more than last year? Give or take. This one is near and dear to my heart. I think Walter Pomeroy and Bob Polak set up a town meeting last year and said, you need to stop putting your cash in hand on there and you need to budget it properly. That's only 2 voters, but
Where are we in here?
It's not,
no, it's another sheet in the Excel file.
this is why it's like,
It's not very good fight.
yeah.
It links to what line is it, 4 something?
There's 3 lines.
3 and change.
Under highway, one under revenue,
Yeah, the
lot 42. Revenue from a highway restricted fund.
and then there's interest.
A
And
little
then
louder,
there's
Vivian.
expense,
Hmm.
A little louder.
right? You put money in, you take money out, and you spend money. But they're not always the same. It's not that bad if you have the Excel file.
Anyways, we don't have to answer the question tonight, but I would like to make you aware if there's an opportunity to contribute. it could pay off tenfold later, you know?
Change the formula to add 10,000 a year instead of 7 or something. Oh, just. You're in the right year,
This is next year.
and then just drag that formula over. For all the
So-
cells.
So I don't know if you saw, it went negative. 2930, and so instead of 3940 being negative, now it's at 272,000 because of a single $10,000 contribution.
But there's expenses that are perfectly in there.
But I mean, that's
Well, it's not a single 10,000, it's just 10,000 per year
correct.
additional.
Can we update our year-end final on that too? For last year, it's 185, 127.
Instead of 145.
Yep.
What's the actual?
These are it's 185, 127. But does that 185, Rosemary, actually account for the cash on hand that we dumped into it?
On 115,
That-
that's the
was
wrong
that-
spot.
Does that count for the extra 10,000, or is that 10,000 not going until like
So
July?
P&L revenue,
Yeah,
Half on- in the back.
proposed $5,000.
right, that's under Historical Society, isn't it? That's their accounts, 5640s. Thursday Night Live is 5645.
Well, anyway, Mike,
What's the problem?
Oh, no, T&L, so the Historical Society sells pies. I think,
Right.
And so,
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
yeah.
The revenue from Tuesday.
So
Night
you
Live.
caught me there for a second.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
I know.
Let's see, the updated final probably brought us back to 0. Nevertheless, if we had updated prices, that would be sweet to know where we'll be 15 years from now.
So I mean, there's no decision there, but that's something to be mindful of.
Something that we'll need a decision on. If it links back, we're good, right?
Yep, I'm gonna go and change.
Generally speaking, we try to be a little conservative on the revenue. Liberal on spending and then tweak that. What are we at now for an increase?
Well, this is going back to the beginning. I just really want to show people that the balance, difference. So
And that's in
26, 27.
F,
This is the year we're working in now.
right? The negative's technically 15 years out or so.
It is, but I think when we update, my concern really is that these numbers are how they're good.
Probably, and if you look at them, they're just based on a 3% inflationary cost than what we have for bills. Do you know what a truck's gonna cost 10 years from now? I don't have a clue.
We don't know.
That's 3% compounding inflation. Do you have up-to-date quotes we can plug in?
No, I have not touched anything to do with this. It's typically what Jason, he goes out and gets those quotes, so. I don't think he's gonna get updated quotes last year. He had quite a hard time getting quotes. People didn't get back to him and some did, were kind of frustrated, but I think by the fact of it.
This is based on all the prices last year.
How old are you now, Tom?
Me, 43 years old, as of 6:57 PM.
So,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday. Tom.
Hey.
43.
what a way to
Celebrate
celebrate,
43.
43-year-old knees, something like that.
Yeah, you got 30 years on.
So you did
Good
make
for you.
changes, or you just? Does the select board want to make a payment in the form of a contribution to the highway reserve fund? To offset future taxes?
It's something to be thinking about. You don't have to answer it now.
I think I'm the only one speaking.
Isn't that what we just did, changed 7 to 10?
Yeah, but I think it's conceptual, right? Like I'm bringing you. There's a new board here, right? There's 2 new people, and I'm just saying, hey, I'm leaving Friday. Hey, here's something, if you have extra money. If you watch how that grows, and we just did that, and so here's $10,000 that'll make a difference. And if you have it, great. If you don't, you don't have it. And that's okay too, but just be mindful of it as you're trying to spend that cash on hand when that part comes up.
Yeah, the change we made was instead of adding $7,000 a year to what we contribute, just $10,000 a year. There's only a $3,000 change that we made for this next year's budget.
So at least conceptually, the answer to the question is yes. We did that in a minor way at least.
Sure. We don't really talk about cash on hand until we get down all the way to the bottom usually. And then we talk about all of these.
What is that? Do we have that?
We weren't here in October, were you?
Yeah,
October 6th. Rosemary handed this to us.
so.
I guess I don't have it memorized.
You can photocopy. I don't, but like. There are certain things that Rosemary prints every year that I don't let go.
And then the last piece to point out is that cash on hand.
Here.
Because
Have it here very organized.
as you go line by line now you've seen how things link together and hide up. So you can then use those additional, any unexpended funds, now you could, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think. Things to be mindful of as you're moving through, looking to say, hey, I could cut 10,000 here. And I could put it to that fund, or I could cut 3,000 and put it towards paving. Or whatever, now, just having those things in mind as you move through the budget.
You keep track of that in case you're chair next year.
I'll call you back in and nominate you.
You guys want to have a special meeting to go over the budget? I don't know if we answered. Cash on hand, your 5th question was to pave or not to pave.
Won't answer the phone.
I say we budget for it,
Do it. And is it gonna happen?
but really the only change to the tax rate is the contribution to the reserve fund.
Yep. But then Jason has one project priced out. And do you want him to get another project priced out for after July 1 or not? So that's what that's about. So the Wilson Road, Katie Wynn, 299, but we were gonna do it in the fall and then change your mind. So that's in there already. But do you want to do something after that? Do you want to do something next summer? If the answer is yes, well then Jason can come up with what he believes is the best thing to do. You don't want to, but if you don't want to pave and you want to build your reserves up, now's the time to do that.
Let's go ahead and do it.
So does he have a running list of what we should pay next in his opinion? Or
He's got his in his head, yeah. So I think the point of this is really not to answer each question specifically, but to get you guys thinking about the reserve funds, how to use them. So now you know there's a highway reserve fund, there's a paving reserve fund, and there's cash on hand that can be moved around. And so now when you jump through these sections,
yeah,
you'll be able, and now you go line by line, you're gonna think about, well, do I really need to spend 12,000 on that? Because what if we actually made a contribution to the reserve fund? That $1,000 is gonna go a lot further. And just thinking about it from a bigger picture rather than each line. And I think now when you go line by line, you're gonna think about it from a bigger way.
There's other reserve funds to think about at the end too. Did you have the calculation for our reappraisal reserve fund in there? This would be like our last year of the shortfall, and it should shrink, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about, I'm sorry.
The reappraisal reserve fund, right? We had a quoted amount, and then we had to make it up over last year and this year. But it wasn't the full 10,000. We're only short like 18,000 between contract and what the balance was, right?
Don't you have a signed contract with?
Yes, for a dollar amount.
I
And we
thought it
knew
was
what
for-
the balance was, the reserve fund.
I thought we had enough because we were putting 13,500 a year from the state reappraisal. Plus we had. Yeah, our own contribution so that when you get it over 2 years, because it's not happening till fiscal for another 2 years, or now another year, that it would add up to enough.
Yeah, we start paying for it every month. When? Already? No. It's before they start working. Hmm.
I think there's other questions that I sent to you and Rosemary from Justin. I think that would, when you answer those, would be a great time to ask him about those.
Well, we had this discussion, but I'll look back and see what it was. We want another meeting on Thursday? That'll get me out of my other meeting on Thursday,
Sure.
or not.
You, sure. Where are you last?
Mike will come.
No,
I'll be late.
You say Thursday? Is that what you said?
I don't know. What's the board want to do?
Or did you suggest Thursday?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay, I can do Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
I can do Thursday.
Can do Thursday, can't do Wednesday.
Percent change.
What'd you
column,
say?
I think we
I
got.
can do Thursday, not Wednesday, though.
This will be your last meeting with us on Thursday.
I was hoping it was tonight.
We have.
I'm gonna bring the champagne. Cycle. Right, sorry.
That's right.
What date do we have to have it done by?
January 10th. We have to sign the warning.
Okay.
That's not far away in municipal government.
Last year was 30.
Make sure you get your petition.
Middle of January.
Get it by second or something.
What's the last date for petition 25
For money or
for the run for select board? 25th of January?
yeah, it's the last Monday.
What time Thursday?
I don't know. Do you guys actually want to meet Thursday? I was just.
Well,
Yeah, let's hit it.
are we gonna do interviews this week? Like, I don't know.
I think that's next week.
That's next week. That's on the 24th.
We already have it scheduled?
Thought it was scheduled for the 24th. For the next round of interview.
Well,
Sure.
we
Is that
can't.
Thanksgiving or something?
Day
Pretty
before.
close.
No,
24th is Monday.
yeah,
It is?
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that later. What's our percent change right now?
Last I knew, that's when the
5%.
next round of interviews.
Not bad,
will be
right?
24th.
Two
don't
small
think we set a
changes, we
date.
went up by a
It
percent.
wasn't a date set?
We're done. You were.
Must be, I was dreaming of
So
that.
I think we should meet on Thursday, keep working on the budget and review resumes, decide who we're gonna interview.
What was the last part of that?
Review resumes and decide who we're gonna interview
Thursday?
Thursday,
Review?
and then interview them on Monday.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I
good
thought.
with Monday.
Thought it was supposed to be.
Why can't we just review them tonight so that Evan can send it out?
We could get some more by Thursday. I don't know. That's up to you guys. What would you like to do? You and you. I serve. Y'all's pleasure.
Just have
I
other,
realize you're a southern.
Hey, you're a Thursday review. Your review tonight.
We don't have them in front of us. Anyway,
That's true.
Thursday.
they'll have to
Okay.
Thursday.
I was gonna pull them up on my email.
So what will be the
Okay.
plan? The plan will be to pick out 4 out of the 8
Thursday we'll give 3 hours for budget and, yeah, we'll
Big
pick
four.
however many the board wants. 3.5.
Hopefully we can pick the.
We get to deal with decimals now that we're dealing with the budget, right? And
You
so
can use decimals
if we
again.
meet Thursday, that gives time for each of us to look at the budget and have our questions.
So we're not going over line by line, we're just going over our questions. I just want to make sure I'm doing it
I
right.
find value in doing it line by line.
I don't
but
care, whichever.
It's kind of up to the three of you. Mike and I are short timers. So.
I'm still trying to get oriented, so I think the more painstaking, the better. Sorry to say that.
Well, the chair likes it line by line, so let's defer to him.
I can jump back and forth.
Oh, you
Please,
prefer line by line.
don't jump back and forth.
We can
Oh
defer.
my God, we're jumping back and forth like jumping beans. Like
Earlier tonight.
Hmm?
Earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So will the other documents be printed out too? With
What?
you said one is connected to this.
The other
like,
sheets.
yeah, do those have?
We really need to print those out. I mean,
Just look
like
at it.
when we go through the line, we can just say, oh, this links to there and Tom can pull the one sheet up. I think.
So like, there's salaries, you guys need to make a decision there. There's rate of pay for clerk, administrator, CADS. Assessor, I think is set, but I highlighted it. There's highway.
The last sheet used to have all the bottom lines. Am I missing something and it's a different location this time around?
Oh, tax rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the bottom of the proposed budget.
Yeah, it's a little clunky right now because it got bumped out, but it's right there.
Okay.
Kind of shows you the previous year's tax rate, percent increase. But
Because that's
this,
usually on the last page.
yeah, but I have not touched that, so it links up to previous year's columns.
Can you email me the most updated one?
Yeah, everyone's gonna get it from our changes tonight.
Okay, cool.
The amortization schedules, I always
The what?
like the cells. Part of the,
There's like just a,
Oh,
it's like a boatload of like, you know, like the greater amortization schedule, like.
every time you buy a piece of equipment. I got to build this last year. Like a fair payment schedule.
And then there's a lot of them for like town meeting.
oh, so at town meeting, didn't you guys last year say you're not gonna print the packet, like the book?
We talked about it. That's
I
a,
think they voter approval.
does it really?
Yes,
How many towns went to that without voter approval?
need voter approval.
For it to not be a
Because of
book?
public perception or because of statute?
Statute.
But not mail it to every person?
There's a lot of towns that don't mail it, and I know they didn't know that.
Hmm.
But fair enough, I appreciate it.
Don't you want to put it on the warning for the state? For next year?
That's a good one.
I don't know how big of an expense it is.
I do have, like, I will have questions as we go down.
If there's still an expense, cause you gotta put it in the paper, and you send postcards to every person, you still gotta print some,
Oh, wait,
and it costs more per book. Plus you print.
That's true, yeah.
costs like a quarter of a penny on our tax rate just to print those things.
$1,000.
Wasn't it like 46 or was it 4?
Yeah, 42 budget.
Yeah. All right, so be it. I guess we'll get another meeting together and move on. Next item up, old business. There was a old town hall item that Peter added. I didn't get excessively in depth on my note.
Yeah, I just want to know where we're at with asbestos and lead inspections and structural assessment.
Tom had asked about that, and I said we should just bring it up tonight because he missed our meeting, but I think we should do it.
Can I make some contacts?
I'm perfectly fine if you wanna. If you want to take the helm on that and Tom's absent, I'm
Be
Wait,
happy
can you
to.
catch me up? What are we talking about here?
Low lecture hall.
Well,
I
Yeah.
Heard that part.
the old
but
town hall.
We voted already to do that.
We did, it's just Tom wasn't here and he asked Adrian and I earlier this week and I missed it. And I said, just bring it up tonight.
Okay.
I thought that was all the
So I
same.
think we moved and voted to.
Have that done?
Yes.
Yep.
I sent them an email
Me,
last
whatever.
week asking if did they do that or do you want me to do it? And I didn't reply today saying, let's bring it up tonight.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Can you, send me contact for,
Evergreen,
Evergreen?
they were the low one, or the other one was D and L, or so you want
Yeah.
the low one?
Yeah, we voted
For Evergreen, right?
Yeah.
And,
No,
whoever we can do a structural
structural
assessment with.
person, whatever it was, the engineering.
We
firm.
have, do you have Paul's contact, the architect?
Yeah.
DeWolf Engineering.
Oh,
is-
DeWolf, okay,
But he's got that.
yep,
She's gonna be here, I think, this week to do the
Yep.
library. So
Yep.
Might be, I bet they jump right over to both at the same time.
okay,
Could you also email Hope that we're having this done?
yep.
Red Mill Building.
Okay, and I'd suggested that we get the lawyers started on whatever work they need to do concurrently. Is that okay to do that?
Mhm.
Who's empowered to contact our lawyer?
I would like to empower you.
Okay, all right.
Is everybody else cool with that?
Yeah.
You're gonna wave your magic wand.
I mean, it's on behalf of the town, as a select board member.
Right, but he still kind of needs an authorization.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't feel like you're going out of turn anymore.
Okay,
Go
thank
for it.
you. All right, happy to do.
Good,
Good.
okay. What's the executive session for employee evaluation?
Oh, it's a exit interview,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Oh, I had another one also.
yeah, you did.
I'll be short and sweet if you want to do that. I've got it here too.
You do? Perfect. Do your thing.
Mine might be.
Can we
different
do,
than yours,
can
so
we just do both?
I don't think you can do that.
Alright. Duncan always knows.
Okay, so I move that, I've moved to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the town's legal matters would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage by its voting strategy. And I move that we enter an executive session to discuss town legal matters under the provisions of VSA Title I, Section 313A1A. And I move that invited to the executive session are the select board members and Rosemary and Donna.
She doesn't wanna be here.
Donna doesn't want to be here.
There's no reason.
Rosemary doesn't want to be here. Okay, just the select board. So 3 separate motions.
Second.
Alright, motions and zzz and seconds. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Or is it entering executive session at 9:13? Rosemary, that was out of respect for you that I said that.
Well, I got to ask you guys about the meeting on the 14th. Like, I haven't seen the recording for that, but I don't know if I need to. Did anything happen other than just you going into executive session and coming out? Can you tell me who made the motion to go into executive session?
Oh, that was in the recording. Adrian made it and Peter seconded.
Adrian.
I don't remember. Sure.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, sure.
First 2 names that came to mind.
Start on time?
Actually, yeah, and we got out not crazy. Like I texted you when we came out.
Yeah, I have that. but-
Oh, you need 15.
In the posted stuff,
Are you leaving?
Guess so.
but.
Oh,
No, you're
goodness.
Good night, Tom.
Why can't you do mine first?
I'm sorry,
Can
you
we
invited
just-
also in my
Sure.
motion. Yes.
Okay.
We just,
Kind of decided.
can we just do
Sort of
both?
part of- Sorry, you're sort of part of the board here.
Misspoke.